Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and welcome to No Budget Reviews, the series where we go around the country finding cars that you can buy in good condition with an MOT for under £1,000 and filming them with absolutely no money at all. So we have to use my phone, no microphones, no fancy DSLRs, nothing like that. Just good honest cars that you can buy for very little money and you can enjoy driving. Well, viewers, another day, another deserted leisure centre car park, and the first time we've ever had a Saab on this channel. This is a 2007 Saab 9.3 1.8t linear convertible. Just ignore the private plate on it. That is something that my friend Walter, who owns this car, has put on the car. It's a very, very late pre-facelift second generation 9.3. Originally, the 9.3 was launched in, I think, 1998, the first generation one that was heavily based on the final generation Saab 900. That shared a platform with the Opel Vectra, and this shares a platform with the Vauxhall Vectra, or rather the Vectra C. We had one of those on No Budget Reviews back in November, owned by my friend Lawrence. Being a linear model, this is the base of the range, but you know, it doesn't look like it, does it? It looks really nice, and of course it's got a beige leather interior, which is, you know, much to my liking. The wind deflector is in place, although there's no sign of the cargo wing accessory that you could get for these to carry things like skis and snowboards and things like that. I'm not probably going to climb in the back because that is going to take me quite a while to disassemble, and you know, this is not my car, so I will sort of climb and stand in the back, but I won't sit down, if that's okay. Even on this base model, we've got quite a lot of equipment. The one thing that Walter has changed in this car, and this is quite an easy thing to do on something like an Astra H or a Vectra C, is fit cruise control. You just need to fit a cruise control stalk, and sometimes I think you need to reprogram it, and sometimes you don't. Clearly see we've got controls for the telephone here and for the stereo. And of course we've got the Saab night panel feature, which is a very unique thing. That's for driving at night when you only have the speedo illuminated and other gauges only come on when they actually register something wrong, like for example a fuel gauge will come on when it's coming low. So the key goes down here because it's a Saab. If it was a manual car, then it would be locked in reverse, but this is an automatic, so it is in park. There we can see the sort of green backlit for the stereo display, and this car's done just short of 87,000 miles. It's not very high mileage really. This is the second Saab 9.3 convertible Walter has had, and he really likes it. I mean, one of the things that I've just noticed on this car, I'm just going to stand back, is the world's most violent cup holder. So we'll push it back in, and it's a interesting sort of design. That, let's just try that again. Oh my gosh, wow, I'm surprised I get sliced in half with that. There is another cup holder in here somewhere. Oh, it's down here, isn't it? It's down there. There is something down there, but it's not as impressive. Now, I've seen these even in right hand drive form with the handbrake either on the right or on the left. I'll just actually apply that. I don't often put the handbrake on in automatics, but I'll put it on just to show you. I've got what would have been 1 point classed as an ashtray down here. I think that's all sort of sealed up because of the sort of Bluetooth module that Walter's put in the car. We will just shut that door and just show you how the hood works. I think we're in the right thing. So if you go to on, it's this button here, and I think you just literally just press this. There we go, it's working. There we are. There's no catches or anything like that, like there is the Mercedes-Benz CLK. You just literally hold this button down. Don't need to do anything at all, and here it comes. I think it closes in something like 26 seconds. Almost done. It's just got to finish going up down the back. There we go, we're finished. Brilliant. Look at that. It's nice headlining as well. Leather trimmed interior, of course, so this being the linear model, it is the base model, but it doesn't feel like it. Full electric windows, of course. Dual zone climate control. And retro-fitted cruise control. And this isn't automatic lights or wipers, that is just a manual switch, although, of course, because it's a Saab, the daytime running lights are on anyway. The glove box opens like so. Walter's things and bits and pieces to keep him warm when he's driving the top down. Loads of airbags, of course, including the one on the passenger side. At a very, very comfortable driving position with an armrest that sort of moves around as well. That's wonderful. I quite like this Viewers. It's pretty good, and of course you can buy these for under £1,000. This car is worth a little bit more than that because it's very, very nice condition. Water looks after it. There's a specialist for the users at a place called Cheriton, which is not too far from where we are today. And there we are. That's the car with the hood up. Let's go around to the boot with the hood up like this. There is a bit more boot space. There we go. There we go, look. Soft top cannot be folded down if items are stored in the shaded red zone, which is this zone here that you move up. See if we've got a spare wheel under here. Yes, we have. Fantastic. A space saver. Brilliant. This car's just getting better and better. I know that, you know, possibly it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I've never driven a Saab before in my life, and honestly, I quite like this. I like where it looks. I like the way that it's got some nice luxurious features, and if it's a base model. And I think I need to put the roof down again so I can actually attempt to stand in the back. Okay, so we can just go and just stand there for a second. So you wouldn't travel like this, but it's an interesting sort of view. One thing you can see is that we don't really have any General Motors switchgear in this car. It's all sort of bespoke Saab. It's just presumed that, you know, this sort of Vectra platform that's under here, but shared with all sorts of things, including the old Fiat Chroma, is just not really on display for a lot of the time. You know, the engines of this car are not the old Saab B engine, but can trace its route back to the Triumph Dolomite and all sorts of things. It still looks really quite bespoke and, you know, individual, and things do feel quite well put together. Maybe not as well put together as something like a Volvo, but it's really not that far off. Right, let's take a look at the engine, shall we? So this is a 2-litre turbocharged engine, developing 150 brake horsepower. This was the base engine that was used in the Saab 9.3 convertible of the second generation, and one or two things look very familiar. That coolant reservoir, for example, just says Calt, which suggests to me that's a General Motors part, and in fact it is, because so is the brake reservoir. So it's a General Motors engine. It's an Ecotec engine. I think it's called the B20 or something like that in this particular car. I could be wrong. I'm very bad with this sort of thing. But there were some other there, but when we go for a drive, we'll talk about that a bit more. The one interesting thing is, if I just shut the bonnet, hydraulic strut, is that it's not badged as a 2-litre. It's actually badged as a 1.8t. And in other variations of the Saab 9.3 of this era, probably in the saloon or the estate or something, there was a 1.8 litre engine available. It was the one from the Vauxhall Vectra that we drove on No Budget Reviews last year, which went 120 horsepower. This is 150, and it's a completely different engine. It's a 2 litre. There were 2 litre variants, well badged, 2 litre small t and 2 litre big T. Right, time for me to refer to my secret mission documents, and then we'll go for a drive. In fact, we do have to have the roof up, viewers, otherwise the noise levels would be absolutely unbearable. Bear in mind this is No Budget Reviews, and of course we don't have any budget for microphones or anything like that. So the engines available in the second generation 9.3 convertible were mainly 2 litre base and all turbocharged. There was this one, which is a 2 litre with 150 horsepower. That was badged as 1.8t. It has a light pressure turbo. Then there was the 2 litre T that had 175 brake horsepower. After that, the 2 litre big T, which had 210 brake horsepower. Now, with the 2 litre T and the 2 litre big T, those actually also had what's called a biopower variant, and those could also use E85 fuel. If you use the E85 fuel, then you would actually get more power, about 25 brake horsepower more. So one of the small T was 200 brake horsepower, and a big T about 235. Also on the menu was a very nice engine, a 2.8 litre V6. That was introduced in 2006 with 250 horsepower. In 2007 that was up to 255 horsepower, and then in 2008 it was available with cross-wheel drive, which was Saab's version of 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. I get really confused about WD2, please don't kill me. And that was up to 280 horsepower. There were also some diesels available with the Saab 9.3 convertible, but as usual, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. Time for some acceleration. This car supposedly does 0 to 60 in about 10 seconds. Bear in mind this is the base engine with an automatic gearbox. Performance, I think, is broadly similar to my Rev 45 V6. That's also 150 brake horsepower and has an automatic gearbox. About 0 to 60, about 9.5 in that one. Unfortunately, this road seems to have a terrible surface, and if the camera's jumping around like crazy, and I do apologise, in both the previous section and in this section, we would just need to slow down a bit. One thing I've noticed in driving this, in comparison with something like the Vauxhall Twin Top we used to have, which was on sale about the same time, was another General Motors product, is the fact that these scuttle shake isn't as bad in this. It seems to be better engineered. Oh, it's a bit of smooth road, there we go, we like that, bit of smooth road. So it doesn't seem as bad in this. The steering seems nicely weighted and relatively responsive. You can tell it's not a rear-wheel drive car though, so you don't have that dynamism of perhaps a BMW 3 Series convertible. And compare with the Mercedes-Benz CLK, mainly would be the A209 model or W209 if you refer to all CLK of generation. This doesn't feel quite the same really, it really wouldn't do. The engineering of those is quite different. Considering this car was on sale for quite a long time, 2003 to 2011, it actually doesn't look that and feel that dated. The dashboard I think was updated in 2007, so this is a pre-facelift but with the newer dashboard in it, I believe. do like the look of the post facelift ones though. They have a certain kind of panache to them that these ones don't, but I think probably people in the comment section will say they prefer the look of this one. Just to happen with facelifted cars, and my opinion is not shared with others. So yes, it's nice to drive. Visibility is a bit rubbish to be honest at the back, but then that's the same with virtually all convertibles. And I'm pleased we've got rear parking sensors on this one. It doesn't even matter with this one whether the hood is up or down, and visibility at the back isn't really that good. It's probably because it's quite a long car. Right, anyway, I think we need to look in detail at some more special edition Saab 9.3s and some other second generation Saab 9.3 convertible facts. Right viewers, there is absolutely no way that I can remember all of these Saab 9.3 convertible trim levels, and bear in mind these are just for the convertible trim levels. If you were talking out a saloon or an estate, there'd be a lot more. So as we've covered already, the standard trim levels available on this car were the linear, vector, the aero. But look how many special editions we have. The linear anniversary, the linear SE, the vector cerulean, the vector anniversary, the vector sport, the airflow anniversary, the aero cerulean, parchment, SE, jet. And then to celebrate the first anniversary of Saab's ownership by Spiker, which was right at the end of production of these, it was about 2012 this trim came out, the independent edition. Of course, the independent edition was pretty much the final model released in the 9.3 range, because in 2012 it sort of all went wrong and Saab is no more. Also, this car shares its platform with an awful lot of other cars. The Fiat Chroma, the Cadillac BLS, the Opel Signum, the Opel Vectra C, the Saturn Aura, the Vauxhall Vectra C, the Vauxhall Signum, the Chevrolet Malibu, and then some weird cars called the Sonova X65 and the Wayvan 550 or S50. So a very popular platform to base your car, and I think that there are sort of variations like the Chevrolet Malibu. I think it's called the Malibu Max as well. The car was made, first of all, from 2003 to 2009, Austria by Magnus Steyr. This would be an Austrian-built car. And then in 2010, it was made in Sweden. The last ones were actually assembled in Trollhättan. I don't know how you say it. I'm very bad at Swedish pronunciation. By one of the Saab dealers, because there are a lot of the parts. Yes, all these Saab 9.3 facts. There's an awful lot to talk about with this car. So, viewers, should you consider the second generation Saab 9.3 convertible? Well, I've had a lot of fun with this car. I know this is the base trim, it's an automatic, but I actually quite like this. I'm really quite surprised. Maybe I should be having a Saab at some point in my life. I know these cars do have their problems. I mean, you know, like any General Motors product of the 2000s does, and obviously you make sure that if your car does have a cam belt engine, I think this one is a cam belt engine, then that is changed on time. And you know, there's a lot of electronics in this car, like any convertible, but I really like it. It's very comfortable. It's surprisingly sort of spacious in the boot, and you know, it's quite nice to drive. It's not, you know, rear wheel drive like a Mercedes. You know, I don't think it will drive like a BMW, but a lot of people really like these cars, and I completely understand why. It's a shame that Saab is no longer with us. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of No Budget Reviews. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like this video and leave a comment below. Don't forget to click on the notification bell to be informed of new uploads. And follow Lloyd Vehicle Consulting on Facebook and Instagram. The links are in the description below.